I will start with introduction about myself. I'm Marcia Fournier. I am a cancer researcher and entrepreneur. I have been working on genomics and precision medicine for the past 20 plus years. Specifically, I have been interested in how to use data to answer scientific questions and inform clinical decisions. I recently joined the Kids First program as a program manager, and I will be giving you an introduction about the program. Well, let's start with a little bit of the history of the program. The program came together with a combination of cancer awareness and a scientific hypothesis. Gabriella Miller was 10 years old when she died from brain cancer. But before that, she was a fearless advocate and fundraiser for pediatric cancer. And she left a legacy. The Kids First program is part of Gabriella Miller's legacy through a bipartisan bill signed by Congress in 2014, authorizing $12.6 million per year for 10 years to support pediatric cancer and other pediatric conditions research at NIH. And in 2015, the Kids First program was born with the first annual appropriation, and the program is funded through 2024. A little bit about the scientific hypothesis behind the Kids First program. The intersection of human development and cancer is not a new concept. And NIH has been interested in that intersection for a long time. I found, for instance, a workshop hosted by NIH in 2012 addressing birth defects and cancer. Also, many reports in the literature have been showing shared mutations between pediatric cancer and birth defects, such as clinical oncology drug targets BRAF, MAPK, and ALK. But not only very recently, with some studies, large-scale studies, supported the association between birth defects and increased cancer risk. And this study I want to point out, authored by one of our investigators at Kids First program, Dr. Philip Lupo, one of our speakers today, with a study including 10 million births showing that association of birth defects to increased cancer risk that also suggests to persist into adulthood, as highlighted by the New York Times recently. So who is behind the Kids First program? The Kids First program is a NIH Common Fund program that is overseen by a working group formed by multiple institutes inside the NIH. And our main goal is to accelerate collaborative research and promote new discoveries. How we are doing that? The Kids First program is developing a large data resource in the cloud to house fair data, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data, promote data sharing, data analysis, and data visualization, development of tools, and foster collaborative research. When we ask our investigators what differentiates the Kids First program from other data platforms, we hear that, one, the program offers the opportunity of whole genome sequence. That's right. The program is actively investing on generating data, and I will talk more about that soon. Also, the data is publicly available, but you're not going to find out only the sequencing or transcriptome data. This data is associated with phenotypes and clinical data, which enhance the meaning of this data and also give additional opportunities of data analysis. And third, the Kids First program data resource brings multiple pediatric conditions and childhood cancer data, which also offers opportunity of rich analysis, for instance, looking at commonalities and difference between phenotypes. Now, how the Kids First program supports research. So one of the main mechanisms the NIH, we at Kids program have been using to support data generation is the EXO1 mechanism. And if you are interested, go to grants.nih.gov. And we've been using this mechanism to support data generation, as I said, through selected projects that are selected through the NIH peer-reviewed process and portfolio analysis. So select investigators send DNA and RNA sample to the Kids First program sequence centers. The Broad Institute, Hudson Alpha, and St. Jude are the Kids First program sequencing centers. The sequencing centers then generate the genomic data with the investigator samples, and this data goes to a data resource center. The Kids First Data Resource Center then compile the sequencing data with phenotypes and clinical data provided by the investigators and give that back to the investigators. And investigators have 6 months exclusivity to work with the data before the data is made public. The data is made public, and the good news is through the Kids First Data Resource Center portal, this data is available not only for the EXO1 investigators, but also to researchers nationally and internationally. So it's a public data. We bring harmonized data, analysis and visualization tools and resources in the cloud with already over 3,000 registers used since its launch in 2018. Just an idea of the size of our data resources, we already have almost 30,000 subjects as part of our data resource. So to join the Data Resource Center, please visit the portal. You're going to hear more about that today as part of our agenda for the spring webinar. And so the Kids First data sharing is fast growing. We observe about 20% growth since fall 2021. So from the 56 projects we supported for sequencing, 24 studies are already available at dbGaP. So if you are interested in getting access to the Kids First program data, please visit our dbGaP website at, it's here, shown here, but also maybe someone can put in the chat box. Through the dbGaP, you can get access to this data. And recently, since the fall 2021, we've released three new projects, and I will show you a little bit of the flavor of the new projects, bringing almost 4,000 new subjects to the data resource. And we expect new data will be released to the public very soon, so stay tuned to the upcoming data release announcements that the Kids First program will make. Now, this is how the program supports data generation. We also have mechanisms that will support the data analysis. After researchers has the data, they can apply to multiple NIH mechanisms, and you're going to learn more about the mechanism with today at the webinar. My colleague James Colomb will talk about that. And I want to highlight specifically an opportunity that is open with a due date on June 10, where we are calling for projects that can enhance the use and the data that we have at the Kids First program through tool development, data harmonization, and data analysis projects. So this gives you a little, an example of multiple NIH support mechanisms using Kids First data and resources. So we found over 70 NIH research grants in the period of 2016 to 2021. And most of them are research grants, RO3 and RO1s, but also we were pleased to see other mechanisms being using the Kids First program data resource, including career development and fellowship awards. We feel humbled to be participating on forming the next generation of pediatric cancer researchers. What is the future for the program? So we focus on the future on gathering additional data on the childhood cancer and structural birth defects field, and multiple data types, adding to the genomic and transcriptomic data that we are already generating, start generating epigenomic and proteomic data. We would like to continue development and improvement of our data resource to enable discovery and data generation, cross-disease collaborations, and interoperability. And you're going to hear more about that today when you hear from Valerie Cotton. And we also aim to invest in expert-driven activities, again, looking for projects that are developing new tools, data harmonization, and data analysis tools. The Kids First program is also part of a larger data ecosystem, collaborating and developing interoperability with multiple data platforms inside NIH and outside NIH. I would like to mention specifically the NIH cloud-based platform interoperability program, which Kids First is collaborating with the Biodata Catalyst, Anvil Project, and Cancer Research Data Commons, and you're also going to hear more about that today through our agenda. And with that, I will thank you. And again, if you have questions, feel free to add your questions to the chat box.